everybody, it's Aaran back from Screenstars, and I'm here once again to bring you another review for Geek Legion of Doom. And today I'm bringing you a review for the 2018 anthology film An Hour to Kill. Now this film was written by Aaran K. Carter and Renee Jimenez and directed by Aaran K. Carter and stars Mel Novak and Frankie Pozos. And this is a strange blend of an anthology film. It's like a crime drama with anthology horror stories thrown into the mix. It's something that I've not really seen anything quite like it before. And it focuses on these two hitmen who have basically got an hour to kill before their next hit. So they kind of sit around in restaurants and in the car telling stories. Which is where the anthology stories come from. So you've got three anthology stories. You have Valkyrie's Bunker, Assacre and Hog Hunters. And the wraparound story is these two hitmen waiting to do this hit. And this is one of the most wonderful, weird anthology films I think I've ever seen. However, comes with a note of caution here. This film is seriously low budget, so there are times where this film is really quite difficult to watch, in the sense of some of the performances at times are really quite jarring. The first story that you get is one called Valkyrie's Bunker, and it's for me it's easily the weakest story. There's a bunch of teenage girls go out to this place to smoke and do some graffiti, but what they actually don't realise it's actually, you know, the remnants of something there from the war, and there's a serial killer German soldier going around murdering people. It's a really short segment, this, and I mean really short, and it's just not very good. The acting wasn't very good, and the guy who was the German soldier, was it a modern day killer? Was he from the Second World War? It didn't really make it clear if it was a supernatural story or it wasn't, and if it was, why was he wearing a costume straight from the local costume shop, it seems, down the road. So this one really didn't work for me. I thought the idea was a good one, you know. Second World War, World War II Nazis are always good for, a decent horror story, but it didn't really work for me. So then you carry on with these two hitmen talking about this, that and the other and the hit, and you've got a veteran one and you've got a rookie one, and the veteran one is trying to teach the rookie one the ropes, who's really annoying, to be honest, the younger one. The second story that we get was called Assacre. Now this one probably contains some of the worst acting I've seen for quite some time, but I quite like the story here. It was quite original and quite fun as well. And this focused on a burrito contest in a local bar. Well, I think there's 4 or 5 people enter. The guy that wins it is a guy who does his own like extreme food channel network thing. Might be on YouTube or something. And there's another two contestants who are jealous of him winning, and they sell him what they claim to be the strongest pepper in the world, because this guy claims he's eating all the strongest peppers. So they sell him this pepper for $50, which he goes home and tries with pretty disastrous effects. So that's called Assacre, the second story. Like I say, I thought the story was really fun and clever. I really like that side of it. I've not really seen anything like it before. But at times, especially the burrito eating contest acting was from some of them, it really jarring, and it really took me out of the movie at times. And again, then we go back to the hitmen, still hanging around, still telling the story, still getting on each other's nerves, all this kind of stuff. And the final story was the maddest story I think I've seen. Hog Hunters, which was like 3 redneck bowling guys who a bowling alley, and they're waiting for this new guy to turn up who's going to be their new partner. And this black guy turns up in a pink t-shirt, and you've got these really, these redneck guys, and they're like, what is this? I know what we'll do, we'll play a joke on him. So they take him to the local bar, they all start drinking, and then they decide they're going to go out to the woods and hunt down this. It doesn't really make it clear, but I think they're going to get. They think they're going to have a good time with these women in the woods. These, you know, huge women. But it doesn't kind of work out the way they think. And the clues in the title in regards to Hog Hunters, they're in for a bit of a surprise when they get to where they're going, shall we say. Now, again, the effects in this one let it down, and some of the acting let it down, but for me this was the strongest story, only because it was completely bonkers and mad and a bit mental, and a bit gross as well, I suppose, in regards to some things in this episode. But for me, it was the best one, I have to say. So you've got 3 stories in this anthology piece, and then when you get the end of the Hog Hunters one, you get the end, you get the wraparound story with its conclusion, because that's got its own like storyline running through it. So there was actually quite a bit of fun to be had with this, but it's severely let down by its budget, and some of the acting occasionally as well really lets it down. But I'm not going to lie, I had a little bit of fun with this, and I do like anthology films anyway, so I'm going to give it a fairly generous 5 out of 10. If you can forgive its budget and some of the acting, there's some fun to be had with this anthology film. It's quite creative in its approach. So I hope you enjoyed the review. Thank you very much for watching.